Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another live session with THiNC Institute of Design. So there's been a lot of things happening around when we are talking about the design aspirants, right? The NID has just released its NID, that means admit cards. NIFT counseling is about to begin. It would be closing by the 4th, and the first rounds are expected. The results of the first rounds are expected probably by the 13th of June. So you see a couple of rounds of counseling has also, results have also come out. So there's a lot of things that are happening. And in the middle of all this chaos, there is students who are stuck with a lot of questions. There are questions about NIFT, questions about NID, UC, and things like that. So in this particular session, we are going to deal with NIFT. We have with us one of the students, that is Theertha Prakash with us, who is currently doing her fashion communication from NIFT Mumbai. Welcome, Theertha.
Hello, sir. Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Okay. So basically what we would be trying to do in this session is that we would try to answer as many questions as possible. And we are trying to deal with questions that is related to post admissions. So if there are any questions like what would happen, let's say, after you join any particular NIFT, or compared to certain NIFT, which one is better? Or let's say, for example, should I take FC or should I take accessory design? There are lots of confusions. There were also students who were asking, should we focus a lot more on, let's say, the course that we're going to take for 4 years, or should we focus on the campus? So lots of questions like that. We would be taking each and every question of yours. We would be dealing with one by one. Theertha would be answering all those questions. We would love to hear your questions. Whatever are the questions that you have, please do post it. Theertha, there are already questions that are coming up. Is there mess in NIFT Mumbai? Yes. So Swati, we will answer all the questions, from mess to hostels, from food to canteens. We will discuss everything. Okay. So before that, once again, let me welcome Theertha. So
Thank you,
Theertha, you
sir.
can start with a brief introduction. Where are you currently? What are you pursuing, and things like that.
Sure. Right now, I am in Mumbai, and I just finished my graduation project. So I'm done with my final year at NIFT. I'll probably be officially graduated in like 2 months. So yeah. Um, and right now, I am planning on doing my master's. Uh, so yeah, that's
So,
about
like
it.
you're saying, by the time these students are getting in, you would be out.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So 4 years at NIFT Mumbai, everybody. Okay. So we would start with some of the questions that students have already sent us. So we'd start with basically the first year. So what exactly happens in the first year? How was your first year experience at NIFT Mumbai?
It was pretty exciting. We had a lot of fests going on, as in every other festival was celebrated, whether it was Janmashtami or Diwali, Christmas, and even Halloween. So it was very fun. But then it could have been more fun if the pandemic was not there. But yeah. So the first year was very fun, and the first year is usually integrated, as in you're not uh, divided into your departments. So in your class, you'll have students from all the departments. Like if I was an FC, so in my class, I had students from KD department, AD department. So you have students from all departments, and the course structure is similar for everyone. So they teach you things that almost every design student should know about: sketching, all the basic stuff. So yeah, that's how the
So,
first year is.
okay, so is this what we're talking about when we say foundation year or foundation program?
First year is called the foundation program. So it is common for everyone. So in your class, you'll have students from every department. It is also because they want to make sure that every student has connections with other departments, so that students are not just focused in their own department. So it's also a good way to do that.
Okay, great. Now, let's talk about the campus in general. Can you take us through NIFT Mumbai, and also answer Swati's question, probably the mess question?
Yes, NIFT Mumbai has mess. The college has a canteen, and the hostel also has a mess. So you're set with that. Don't worry about mess. I wouldn't comment too much on the food. I'll just say it's not bad.
Moving on.
Moving on, the campus life it's pretty happening in the beginning, but after that, once you just get accustomed to all the submissions, deadlines, and everything, you wouldn't care too much about the campus life because you'll just be struggling to get done with the submissions and everything. But yes, it's very fun in terms that you'll get to be involved in a lot of fests and everything. Like, for example, for Janmashtami, we have this matka is tied in the ground in the middle, and all the boys and girls are formed into teams, and everyone has a chance to go and, matka fodna and everything. And there we also celebrate Lori. So we, put in a campfire time. We lit that whole Holika Dahan thing and everything, and the camp it's lit and everyone moves around dancing. So almost every fest is celebrated in NIFT. So you'll have really fun doing that, and you'll find a lot of creative people among you. And the one thing I really like about NIFT is that there is a lot of freedom, as in you'll be free to express yourself. You can wear whatever you want, and no one's gonna question you or judge you on that. Like, full freedom. Even the teachers don't care about what you wear. No one's gonna say anything. So yeah, you can. If boys who like to wear makeup can wear makeup and come to the college, and they'll only be appreciated for if they've done a good enough job. No one's gonna judge anyone. And yeah, so that's a great thing about NIFT.
Okay. So talking about the specialization, so the first year is basically something that's common, right? So when does your specialization start? Is it specializations or is it like electives? So how does it function like?
So starting from first year, we have something called general electives. So in general electives, there is non-mandatory and mandatory. So in mandatory, there are a specific set of general electives that you have to cover throughout your 4 semesters. So there might be, I think, 7 electives. So throughout you have 8 semesters in 4 years. So throughout the 7 semesters, you have to cover these electives. So it's up to you when you cover a particular subject, but you just have to cover all these 7 subjects. But in non-mandatory, you'll have dance, music, and all these extracurricular stuff that you can learn: yoga, dance, music, much more. So it's up to you. You can choose whatever you want. There's no as such, a limitation that you have to do this particular thing. But yes, if you have chosen something in this semester, you cannot choose that in the next semester.
Okay. Okay. What?
Apart from that, sorry. So apart from that, in second year, you get to choose your IDM, which is interdisciplinary minor. So in interdisciplinary minor, you basically get the opportunity to study a subject from another department. Like if I'm an FC and I want to study a subject in FD, for example, so I get the chance to do that.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So continuing on that note, let's say, for example, somebody is not getting fashion communication or let's say fashion design. Okay, so can they choose any other branch, let's say accessory design or textile design, go to any particular NIFT and then do IDM, which is of their choice? Would that be helpful for their career? What do you suggest?
It will be helpful, but I wouldn't say that it would be like, yeah, okay, fine, I can do that kind of thing. As in, it's not, you'll only have those classes like once or twice a week. So it's there that you'll get an exposure to that department and things that's happening around there, but it won't be a prominent part of your, as much prominent part of your learning as your actual subject would be. As if I've taken AD and FC is the one that I want to go to, so mainly I'll be learning everything that's in AD, but like for 1 week maybe I'll get an exposure to what the other subject is about, and I get to do assignments and work in it. It's probably like a consolation prize, or so yeah.
I think that's a very nice word to be used there. Okay. So let's say, for example, somebody needs FC, considering that you are somebody who is currently doing FC, right? So is there any
Yeah.
close relative of that, or is it advisable to repeat for another year? You being a NIFTian who has almost completed 4 years, what would you suggest to all those students who are not getting, let's say, their dream courses, or let's say specifically they're not getting FC?
So if they are not getting into FC, then I would definitely not suggest them to take other departments like FD, KD, or TD, because they are not very related to FC. I would still suggest them to take, if it's that important for you to take admission this year only and not repeat for another year, then I'll suggest that take AD. Instead of other departments, because AD is still very related to FC, and AD, like, you learn UI UX design in AD, you learn photography in AD. And in fact, I know a friend of mine who is in AD and did his graduation project in UI UX design, which is mostly an FC thing. So I think AD would be more advisable. And even in my batch, I had a lot of students who wanted FC but went with AD. So in AD, you learn about furniture design, interior design, I think even graphic design. Not as much as you'd learn in FC, but still. So I think AD would be a better option comparatively to other departments. I would definitely not suggest FD or KD, especially because it's mostly designing. You'll have to sew a lot, you have to knit a lot. So it's a lot of manual work that is very practical and skill based. So you'll have, if you're interested in that, then go for it. But if you're not, you'll struggle a lot in the academic perspective.
Seems like probably you're not that interested in the facial expressions were saying a lot. Okay.
Yeah, we had we were taught to sew and stitch in the first year. I struggled a lot.
Labor, yeah, that's labor for you. I understand. Okay. So just curious to know, catching up with fashion communication, why did you choose FC? Like, the reason I'm asking this question is because I understand that this course specialization is also something very important, right? So we still have 3 more days for students to decide on that. So how would you suggest them to decide on their courses? How did you choose your specialization?
So I chose fashion communication because I was interested in graphic design and other creative aspects. And when I thought about NIFT, I think it was more about omission. As in, I knew that I didn't want to do FC. I knew what happens in FD, and I knew that I didn't want to do FD.
Everybody who's listening, this is another method of arriving at your specialization, the method of elimination. Yes, please.
Yes. So I saw that I didn't want to do FD because it's mostly designing. Obviously, it takes a lot of creative thinking to do something like FD. It does, like a lot of creative thinking and creativity. But I knew that it's something that I didn't. The best way to eliminate things or to take your decision is to research on each and every department and what happens within it, and see what you can resonate with, and see what you see yourself doing it. Because you have to do this for 4 years. So you have to be very careful while making a decision. You can't be like, you go to the counseling and you're sitting there, you're seeing all the numbers, seats are reducing, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll take AD, or okay, maybe I'll take FC. This is something you have to do you have to make a decision before you go in. So it's important, and it's easily available. As in the NIFT website, you go to the NIFT website, there is the academic section, and therein you can see all the departments. Go to each department, there is information on everything. So yeah, it's pretty easy if you see and research a bit about each department. And look at what each department will offer you on a career perspective, as in what you want to do in future. Do you want to become a graphic designer? If you want to become an interior designer or a jewelry designer, then it would not make sense for you to go into FC. Then it would make sense for you to go into accessory design. So you have to think like that, a little bit of a future perspective.
Okay. So to everyone who has joined later on, basically we're having a session talking about NIFT Mumbai and also fashion communication. We're also talking about how we can decide on these course specializations and things like that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot it up in your chat box. We would be happy to let Theertha answer that. Okay. Now, talking about this one thing, of course, there are students who are confused between campus and course. So they're not sure about which one to give priority, because there are 2 decisions that you need to make, right? So this year, they have actually made it online. What you have to do is you need to give your priorities, 1, 2, 3. So 1 could be New Delhi FC, 2 could be New Delhi FD. So that way they can give as many options as they want in the 17 NIFT. Once they give that, there will be a round of counseling. They'll get any particular preference of theirs. This happens for 5 times. So students are confused about which one to give more priority for. There are, I think you should be able to understand, right? There are lots of students who are
of
not
course.
decided on which course to do. So campus or course, which one do you think should
I would
have priority?
definitely say course, because campus, once you get into the campus, you won't even bother too much about the campus stuff. But course, you have to do the course for 4 years. So you have to keep that in mind.
After that also, throughout your career.
Yeah, even, yeah, throughout your career. And once you graduate, it would, I mean, even if you want to switch your departments, as in once I'm doing accessory design and I specialized in something, jewelry design or something, and suddenly I realized that, oh no, maybe I'm interested in graphics. Obviously I can make a portfolio on that, do stuff on that, but then it's again effort, more effort to do something like that. So I'd rather say choose, because no one's going to ask you which campus you're from. You already have the NIFT tag. No one's going to ask you too much. No one's going to bother that much. And even when it comes to placement cells, NIFT has all over India placements, as in every campus gets the same kind of placements. So there is no discrimination when it comes to like a NIFT Mumbai person will get a better placement as compared to a NIFT Kangra student or something. So there's nothing as such. So, and every NIFT has like good enough faculties. So you don't have to bother too much about it. And if you're thinking about work opportunities or internships, you can easily get internships all over the country, wherever you want. You just have to apply. You just have to build a good portfolio and you just have to apply. So you don't have to bother too much about the campus. I'll say definitely go for the field that you want or the department that you want instead of focusing on the campus.
Okay. Would you like to shed some more light on placements? Like I understand you're focusing a lot more on masters. So anything more on placements that you want to add?
I think the thing is that for placements, I would say the college brings you placements, but don't be too much dependent on the college. You should also do stuff on your own. Throughout these 4 years, try to build up a good portfolio, because in the design field, the fact is that the NIFT tag can get you in places, but they will look at your portfolio. And if someone who is not from NIFT has a better portfolio than you, then there is a high chance that they will land the job than you. So in the design and creative field, portfolio is very important. So make sure that you're building a good, nice enough portfolio.
A very interesting point, right? So probably NIFT will open a lot of doors for you, but what you do inside that door, that is how you show your work and all, is very important.
Yes.
Okay. Now talking about portfolio. So now that you have introduced portfolio, so how would you take us through your portfolio for the last 4 years? Like how did you build it up? Was it through works, internships, or did you do it by yourselves? Can you just give a brief idea how would be life there?
So I'm not really a good candidate to talk on that, because I didn't do many personal projects. But I still had a portfolio at the end, because what I did was every subject that I was interested in, I did a really good job in their assignments, as in class assignments, good enough that it could go in my portfolio. So that's what you could do if you're lazy. You can just work hard in your college, as in whenever you've been given college assignments. So what happens is that that is something that I have to do, or I won't get marks, right? So I have to complete it within the deadline. So doing that, just I had a portfolio at the end of the year. I had a portfolio which had graphic design work, which had especially photography work. So I was really interested in photography and filmmaking. So I made sure that I did good work in photography and I put in my best efforts in doing that. So I didn't even need to do too much extra work, but I would suggest always do too much. Matlab, if you do extra work, you'll be better off. So yeah, try to do more
Okay.
personal projects if you can.
Okay.
Don't be like me.
Uh, okay. Would you like to share how, like, let's say, for example, how others or your peers and classmates have probably worked out on this? Any options, online internships or anything of that sort?
Yeah, so you can always do internships side by side, especially when it comes to even if you're in college, you can do internships. You can. I have a lot of friends who have been doing internships while they were studying. So especially in FC, it's like most of the work is work from home. Most of the work is the kind that you can do work from home, like graphic designing, web designing, everything. So if you do internships and everything, then you can obviously put it up in your resume as an experience. So in your third year, you have to take, it's mandatory that you have to take an internship for a semester. I think it's a 2-week internship or something. So while you're doing that, you have to look for internships and you have to do that on your own. So for that, you'll have to have a portfolio. And if you have experience on your resume, then it will be easier, obviously, for you to get an internship there. So if you're already doing internship beforehand, it will only help you.
Okay, so on that note, we have heard that in case of NIFT, when you're selecting NIFT, like the city is also equally important because that defines a lot of opportunities. How would you comment on that?
So the city is important in some way, but again, like for example, if you choose Mumbai, you'll get to go to Lakme Fashion Week because NIFT students especially get the opportunity to go to events like Lakme Fashion Week and everything. So there's that, and in a city like Mumbai, like I was interested in filmmaking, so I had easier access because Mumbai is film, more a lot of film related things going on in Mumbai. So there's stuff like that. But apart from that, if you want to really do something, city is not that important because once you're in college, you probably won't even have that much time to go outside and do stuff. You'll mostly be you're just worrying about city and campuses right now before joining. But once you're in there, I don't think it will be that much of an issue. Although I was in Mumbai, so I think it would be better answerable by someone who is in not like a good city campus. But still,
Okay.
this is my personal perspective on that.
Okay.
In
I
fact,
think
if you want to work in Mumbai or something, like if you're in another campus in NIFT, and if you want to work in Mumbai or something, you can always go for, if you're that passionate during your holidays or summer vacations, you can just summer break, you can just go and apply for internships in Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore, and you can go work there.
If you are that passionate, I understand from where you're I understand where all of this is coming from. One single word that I would use is laziness. Yes.
Yes.
So there is Cherry Amelie has a question. Is the exposure same in every NIFT? Anything to add on that?
I don't feel like I mean, in the sense that you might get industry faculties, like we always have industrial experts as guest faculties. So I don't know if that would make a difference, as in we might have more, there might be more people in Mumbai, as in it would differ on proximity, right? What kind of guest faculty you would get or not. But some guest faculties also, but I think NIFT might get guest faculties from far away also to teach them. So I don't think I'm very in a good position to answer that question. So sorry. Because I don't really know anyone from other campuses.
Cool. Okay. I think there's another question. I don't know if you want to talk about that. I don't know if you would be able to talk about that. How does BF Tech compare to other design courses?
I think BF Tech is a bit more practical and technical. It's not as, it does not involve as much creativity as it does in the other departments. But I've still seen BFT does involve sewing and stitching and some of the stuff that involves in FD. So I think the BFT is more about industrial things, like the industrial department related to fashion, in the fashion industry. So yeah, but I think you should just check the NIFT website for that. That might be better.
Okay. If there are any questions regarding counseling and all, so you can directly shoot us a call or you can WhatsApp us at 8086 111 488. I would also request the host to please share that number in the live chat box. Either you can call us or you can WhatsApp us. We would be happy to answer. We're not addressing those questions just because we're trying to focus the discussion exclusively on NIFT Mumbai and fashion communication. We would be taking up other questions eventually, or when you have time, you can please contact us in these numbers. Okay. Now, when we are talking about industries and industrial visits, and also, did you have it generally? What's the curriculum like? Is it mandatory like internships?
So in second year, we have industrial visit. Even in first year, we have not exactly an industrial visit, but we had a subject wherein we had to go to a remote village near us, and we had to go and see how we as designers can change or make a change in their life, make their lives easier. So we had to go to that village every 1 week or something, and we had to notice what all things were happening. We had to make a whole documentation of what their problem areas were, and then we had to. It was a group project. It was a teamwork. So we were divided into teams, and then we had to make solutions, come up with solutions and implementations and everything. So there was something like that. And apart from that, we have industrial visit, in the sense we have something called craft cluster. So that happens in second year, and it also happens in the third year. But unfortunately, our batch did not get the chance to do that because of the pandemic. Um, so yeah, we missed out on that. So then I think we go to different places. Like for example, we our campus is in Mumbai, so we, I think it's more about the um, handmade stuff and handicrafts of India, promoting, coming up with something to promote the handicrafts of India, um, handmade and handicraft items of India. So we have to go to these particular places that I think GI specific things that are there. So we had to go to the particular places where these things are actually made. We had to observe and how we can come up with a solution as to how this can be promoted and this can be stopped from dying out. So that is what Craft Cluster was about. So yeah. And we also had industrial visit, but again, we couldn't go much on it because of the pandemic.
Okay, great. There was also questions regarding transfers. So, like, can there be a shift in course? Can there be a change in course after we join, or can we move from one campus to another? What's the scenario like?
So you can do all that, whatever you said. You can shift to another campus. You can shift to another department within your own campus. You can shift to another department to other campus. But the thing is that once you in the counseling, you choose your department and your campus. After that, it's very hard that you will actually get what you want. As in, if I chose FC during my counseling and then I'm like, maybe I want AD, or I actually wanted AD, so I'll try to get into AD, but it's very difficult for that to actually happen. There are a lot of criteria and specifications that you have to go through, only after which you'll get to do that. So I can't really give you much detailed information regarding that because I didn't do any of that. So you can find that on the NIFT website under the academics section.
Okay, that's great. To everyone who has been watching, we hope this was helpful, and we hope we've answered a lot of questions. If there are any questions, any more questions that you want to come up, we're almost towards the later half, towards the end of this particular live. So if there are any questions that are coming up, please do not hesitate to shoot it in the live chat box. Meanwhile, Theertha, there is a question from Ajit Kumar Singh. You might want to take that. How can we go for internships, like personal projects? Can we have? Should we need to get permission, or can we go on our own?
No, you don't have to get permissions. In fact, for your personal project, you don't even have to do internships. You just need to find time apart from your curriculum and academics, and you can do whatever you want. No, there are no restrictions on it. In fact, if you want, you can even take your faculty's help in personal projects.
Any particular websites or anything of that sort that anybody used or you are aware of that you would like to share to get internships or expose your work?
I'm sorry, what?
Any
Relating to
any particular any particular websites wherein they can search for internships or probably post up their works,
Oh
portfolio?
yeah, you can post your works and look at other people's portfolio on Behance. You can find NIFT students' portfolio, NID students' portfolios, and a lot of other creative people. Um, So yeah, you can check out Behance if you want to see what kind of personal projects. Even students even put up their college assignments. So if you're in college and you are, thinking about like how I'm going to do this particular assignment, you can just search up the keywords and you'll probably find a lot of students have put up their college assignments only on their portfolio.
If you are that passionate about yes, I get that. One more follow-up question that Ajit Kumar Singh has. Also, does college provide multi-internship?
I don't understand the question. Multi internships, as
Yeah,
in.
I'm also not sure about that. So Ajit, if you could please elaborate on that, it would be really helpful. Are you talking about one particular like 10 days duration and there could be multiple internships that we could be doing? If you could please elaborate, that would be really helpful. Sherry Amelia has a question. So can you tell what kind of industrial visits FD have?
I'm sorry. I
Okay.
don't really have much of an idea about that.
Okay.
Also, just to address Arjun, was it? Yeah.
Ajit Kumar.
Ajit's question, I can say that the college is not going to help you too much when it comes to looking for internships. You have to do that. The college might give you contacts that you can talk to or email to, but it's not definitive that these contacts will come through and that you'll definitely get your internships there. So you have to hustle a lot, you have to make connections, and you have to make sure that you're making good connections with your seniors, because they can often help you out with internships and everything. They might be working at some place and they might be able to refer you. So make sure you're making connections, and yeah, you have to do a lot of emailing and everything to get internships. And yeah, make a good LinkedIn profile, uh, make a profile in Intershala, and do things like that, rather than depending on the college, because it will be mostly up to you to get internships and everything.
The most interesting word is hustle. I think that's something that's been trending for a long time
Yeah.
now. So you will have to hustle, and I think that is there in all the fields nowadays. Okay, moving on. Muskan Priya has a question. What prior knowledge or software are needed to learn before getting into NIFT in fashion communication?
None. If you already have prior knowledge, it's well and good for you. But if you don't, there's no issue at all. You taught all the softwares and you'll get to learn all of them, because I had no prior knowledge and I had the same question in my mind that if I need to, and I thought maybe I need to, but then I was too lazy to do it. So I didn't learn anything and I had no problem. So don't even worry about it. You'll be fine. And
अच्छा
softwares are
ठीक
not
है.
that hard. It's easy. You'll think about it that it's so hard seeing everything, but once you get the gist of it, it's easy. Don't worry.
It must be your friends who help you out or teach a lot of softwares, is it?
Yeah, I mean, mostly it's like the teacher. Like you can also ask your friends. You'll have friends who might be really good at these software. Some of them are already exploring all these stuff. So your friends will help you out, and your best friend YouTube. You can find everything you need on YouTube, because
The second largest search engine, ladies and gentlemen, after
ah,
Google.
exactly. In fact, when the teacher is teaching you stuff about, especially about software, there isn't much that you can teach someone about software, because they teach you that they'll tell you a basic skill, you do this, do that. After a point, you have to do on your own stuff, and then you'll have doubts, and then that you can ask your teacher. But yeah, I think it'll be easier for you to follow YouTube, because I learned most of the software from YouTube only.
Any softwares that you want to share, like the names of the softwares that you have studied in the last 4 years that you want to
Yeah,
share?
sure. Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, Adobe Premiere Pro for editing, Adobe After Effects for animations. Yeah, there's also 3D software. You also learn 3D in FC.
Okay. Okay, there's a question. Hey, what should I choose, FC or AD? Which one is more good in future?
I think uh, I think you have to decide that depending on what you want to do. Because if you're good enough in what you want to do, then you'll definitely have the kind of future that you want. But if you're thinking about just as in, if that was the case, then you should have probably gone for engineering, because design is not that well in the Indian society. Engineers are getting jobs and everything. Designers are like, you have to hustle a little bit here and there in the beginning, and then you'll get the job. So it's like if you're good
Designers are
enough.
all Ashub, no?
Hustling. Oh yeah, even Ashu. Oh my God, designing.
क्या तो पहनते हैं निफ्ट में जाके बताइए.
Oh yeah. Oh, you probably might hear that a lot around the places that you're staying in if you're an NIFT
Yeah.
student. So yeah.
Okay, I think that's a very important perspective that she has just put in. Like the internal motivation to do certain things is very important. So just deciding on the fact that how the market is, the market could go up and down today or tomorrow.
Exactly.
That basically, look at COVID, what COVID has done. Things have gone upside down, right? Nobody knew that. So I don't think that's a very good bet to actually take on a particular course thinking about how the future is, how the market is going to be. I think the best thing is to think of what you want to do. And for those who joined late, you can obviously watch the recording. But Theertha was also stressing on a very important point of going into these NIFT websites, finding out what happens in all these departments, and thinking of whether you would like to be there tomorrow or in the coming weeks and months to come. Also, again, YouTube is another way where you can search for what happens in all these courses, what happens in FD, what happens in FC, AD, and all, right? Okay.
I mean, you can think about whether or not you want to get into a particular field, depending on the future of that field. If you're passionate about both the fields, as in there are two fields, and you're passionate about both these fields equally, at that point you can think about the criteria of which I have a better future or I have chances of having a better future. But otherwise, there's no point in thinking like that.
Great. Ajit Kumar Singh says thank you for the genuine answers. Swati, yes, Swati is back. What do you prefer, laptop or iPad for FC?
Oh, laptop definitely. Um, Laptop is a must because you have to do all the softwares, and mostly almost all of your work is going to be on the laptop. So it's better if you get the laptop in the first year only. I mean, you can make out through the first year without a laptop also, because in fact, if you don't have a laptop, you can make out through all the 4 years of your college, because the college has a great PC lab. So you can always use the PC lab, but still having a laptop would be way much better because the college will shut down at 7 or 6. So you'll only have access to the lab at that time. So I would suggest laptop.
Okay. Yesh has asked a question. Should I have NIFT as an option if I want to pursue filmmaking?
I think if you're really sure about the fact that you want to get into filmmaking, then you probably should go to an institute that is more focused on filmmaking, because otherwise you'll just be wasting 4 years doing other graphic design. And because you learn filmmaking in NIFT, but it's only for 1 semester. So if you're already, see, I'm also interested in filmmaking, and I intend on doing my master's in filmmaking. But the thing is that at the point when I was joining NIFT, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just knew that I wanted to do something creative and something not FD. So so I chose FC, and it was great for me because I explored all the creative things: UI, UX design, graphic design, photography, videography, everything. And then I came to the conclusion that okay, this is what I like. So right now I'm pretty sure that this is what I like because I have been exposed to the rest of all the creative stuff, and I knew that this is what something I wanted to do. But if you are, maybe you're on a better stage than me, because you are already clear that you want to do filmmaking, so I would not suggest that go into NIFT. But if you haven't gotten into any other film specific institute for your bachelor's, then maybe you can come to NIFT and do a lot of side projects related to filmmaking, and then you can apply for an internship in filmmaking, because that's what I did. Even though I did not have much personal projects related to filmmaking, I did a few projects in my last few semesters, and I had a lot of photography portfolio. So yeah, you can get into NIFT, but yeah, I would suggest it would be better for you if you get a more film specific college, because NIFT is not that good.
Okay. Before I answer the next two questions, we've almost come to the end of this particular session. If there are any more questions, please do shoot it in the chat box. Please do not hesitate. We hope we have answered most of the questions. Coming to the last couple of questions that we have. Okay, it's the same. Muskan and Nandana wants to know, is it required to have a camera when we are talking about FC?
So FC, we have photography in almost every year. So it would help you if you have your own camera, because the department has a camera that they will lend you. But and even your friends can lend you their cameras for assignments. But the thing is that camera is an expensive stuff, and most people will be a bit finicky about lending something like that. So it will only help you if you have your own camera. But even if you don't, then it's fine. You'll be fine. You can get cameras from your friends, and you can even get cameras from the department. But it'll be more flexible for you to have your own camera.
Do you want to share which camera you used?
I have a Canon 200D. But yeah, you can talk to your photography faculty about all the the kind of cameras you might need, and then go on with the budget and everything.
Okay. Tumpa Pal has asked a question: which laptop do you prefer for FC, which specializes in graphics?
I don't think there is any specific laptop that you need to do, because we are not into like heavy editing or softwares on anything. We only had Premiere Pro in like the last semester, so you can use any laptop you want. Most people use MacBook, but fine if you don't have a MacBook. It's not necessary. I think it's more of a statement in NIFT than anything else. So you'll be fine whatever laptop, as long as it works. You'll be fine.
Okay. So I think that would be it. We have almost getting to the end of the session. Let me just see if there are any more questions that are pending. Okay, is it better to stay? Oh yeah, we forgot that question altogether. Is it better to stay in NIFT hostel or as a paying guest, in your opinion? You have also not shared where exactly you stay, right? So probably you might want to share that, your experiences and all.
So I stayed in the hostel. My house was near, but I stayed in the hostel. I think just because of the hostel experience I wanted. But I would say that you'll have a lot of more freedom when you're staying in the PG than in the hostel. So because in the hostel there is all these in timings that you have to come at, I guess, 10 o'clock, or you'll have to send a message to make your parents send a message that my ward is going to be late, and the warden will be a bit on your head that why are you late and everything. And even if you want to go out, like take a leave and go out, you have to make your parents send them a message that you have to go, you won't be in the hostel for 2 days, so you have to take a night out. You have to get the warden signature, and you have to first of all submit a form, and get the warden to sign that form, and then when you're going out you have to give the form to another person, they will sign that. So it's a lot of, I mean, the hostel is really good. The NIFT Mumbai hostel is really good. So the mess is also good enough, it's not bad. But yeah, there are these problems of like coming in late and all those things. But if you're a guy, then you won't have a problem, because yeah, so, because your hostel is the campus only, and you'll just get to go come in and out. No one asks any questions. But yeah,
No procedures. No. Yeah, you already have in the chat box. People have made their decisions. Okay. I think the person who asked that question has gone to book a PG already. Okay. Okay. What is
but
the
I would
hostel?
suggest
Yeah.
that living in the hostel will make your life easier in terms that there are washing machines, there are ironing machines that you can use, there is a fridge, there is a kitchen, and there is mess. So I mean, a lot of times what happens is that you compromise on your food, because you'll wake up late, you'll miss your breakfast, and then you'll start eating out. And a lot of my friends have had that problem. So, and you don't have to clean up your rooms every morning. The maid will come to your room and clean the room. So there are all these
Biggest
perks
perk.
also that come with it. So you'll have to just weigh the pros and cons and see what you can do.
Okay. See, she said it smartly. Okay. Instead of saying the negatives of PG, she has said the positives of hostel. So everybody, please take note of how she's pitching it. Okay. Okay, do you want to share the expenses? How much is the hostel expenses? Muskan is asking about NIFT Mumbai specifically, hostel expenses.
I think the hostel expenses vary from campuses to campuses. NIFT Mumbai has comparatively way more than the other campuses, I think. And coming to the hostel expense, for an AC room, it's different. For a two sharing room, it's different. For a dormitory, it's different. For an AC dormitory, it's different. And it changes on an yearly basis, I think. And you'll also have mess fees. So I think it'll be better if you check the NIFT website, NIFT Mumbai website specifically, to see what the charges are. But it could be around 1 lakh for a year or something. It could be. I don't really remember that time.
Okay. Swati is asking about NIFT Bangalore campus and the hostel mess facilities. Anything you want to shed some light on?
Yeah, so the difference, I went to the NIFT Bangalore campus in the beginning because I was getting all the other departments and campuses in my counseling except NIFT Mumbai FC. So I chose NIFT Bangalore FC. I went there for the second round of counseling and I got NIFT Mumbai FC. But then, yeah, I visited the Bangalore campus. It's pretty good. But the fact is that in NIFT Bangalore, you only have hostel for the first year. After that, you don't have the hostel because I don't think there is enough facility to accommodate all the students. But in NIFT Mumbai, I think the boys only have hostel since for 1 year for the first years. After that, the boys have to look for other accommodations in NIFT Mumbai. But girls have like enough space. Like the hostel is pretty big. So yeah, throughout all the years, if you want, you can even stay there till your 4th year in the hostel. But in NIFT Bangalore, I think you have to look for other accommodations. I don't know much about the mess. Okay, I ate in the mess. And I remember it was pretty okay. I don't know. It was fine. The college has mess. I don't know if the hostel has mess or not because I didn't go to the hostel.
Okay. Is the outside food allowed?
In the hostel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can people even order food at like 12 and all, and it's fine. It's allowed.
Okay. Okay. What was your rank?
Oh, okay. So my rank was 449 general rank and OBC rank was 52.
Okay. I think another question is something that's related to that. Cherry, Emily, I have heard about the semester exchange program in NIFT. Can you share some info about that?
Right. Like I said, the semester exchange and all these information you can get on the NIFT website. I didn't really go through that, so I don't think I'm confident enough to answer that.
Cool. Okay. So I think that would be it. We have answered most of the questions. If there are anything that we have missed out, please do shoot it up here. Okay. I think it's been really nice having such a wonderful conversation with you. Does NIFT provide scholarship for OBC? If so, may I ask what's the process?
Yes, NIFT does provide scholarships, but I think it's more about your on the income on the basis of the family income rather than your caste. Although I'm not sure, maybe SC/ST might have benefits in that regards, but I'm not sure about it. But I'm pretty sure that it's income based. So, but yes, you get scholarships. So you'll have to go through procedures, submit forms, and everything.
And this whole process starts once you get in, after you get in.
Yeah, it does. Also, in your 3rd year, you have deepening specialization where you get to choose which specific branch of your department you want to specialize in. Like, for example, in FC, there was 2, fashion journalism and visual communication. So I chose visual communication. So visual communication involved photography, videography, UI UX design, and I mean, it's not like you will only do that stuff. You'll just have a specialization related specific subjects. So your class will be divided at that point, but the rest you'll have common subjects together with the whole class.
Okay. How about the climate? How about the NIFT Mumbai specifically? How about the climate there, living expenses?
The climate is pretty humid. It's very, very, very hot. but you'll get used to it. You'll crib a lot in the beginning, but then you'll get used to it. And once it starts raining, it just rains for a long time. So you'll just get pissed off. You'll carry your umbrella continuously with you. And the one day that you don't carry your umbrella, that will be the day when it will be raining. So
And flooding.
yeah, and flooding. But one thing about the NIFT Mumbai campus is that it's in Navi Mumbai, not the main Mumbai. So it's not gonna flood that much. So you'll be okay with the flooding part. But yeah, climate is like that. Living expenses, I think the rent is not that cheap if you're choosing for getting a flat, or if I don't know about PG, but if you're choosing to get a flat, the rent is not that inexpensive. It's not that cheap. And food, when it comes to food, I think you can get food from in a spectrum of like very cheap to very expensive. So it's up to you. You'll be fine with food. Yeah, there are a
The
lot of
only thing
dabba
is you'll have to
services.
find some time to eat the food.
Sorry, what? Yeah, you have to find time to. No, you'll have time. It's fine.
Let's not at least demotivate them who are eagerly going to join. No?
Yeah, you won't be that into. I mean, you'll be continuously doing academic stuff if you choose to do that. You can always be like finish off your stuff in whatever way you can.
If
Just
you're
get done.
that passionate, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're that passionate, then you'll be 24/7 in front of your laptop doing stuff. Otherwise, you can, if you want, you can always find time for stuff. You know, just don't
चलो
miss your.
ये अभी तो बस खाने का डिस्कशन होगा. Is there hostel mess in NIFT Hyderabad?
There are messes in all NIFTs, I think. I don't think there is a NIFT that does not have a mess. I don't think you should
Okay.
worry about it.
So I think yes, that would be it. If there are any further questions, please do let us know after this recording is posted. We will be making this available, so you can post below this particular video also if there are any questions. If we can answer that, we would definitely try to respond to all these things. Okay. So it's been really interesting to talk to you, Theertha, about your 4 years of life. I think your batch also went through COVID in the middle of your course, right? So that's quite it has to be commendable to survive that unexpected certainty during those periods. I think it would have been really tough. And the screen time and all, I can just imagine. Okay. I think we can wind this up probably. Do you want to share your future plans or anything of that sort and probably wind this up?
So my future plans is that I am planning on applying for my master's in filmmaking, and at this point, if I don't get into filmmaking, then I'll probably try again next year while I'll work in the industry for a while. I'll probably work at the same place that I was doing my internship at. So yeah, right now this is my plan.
Okay. What was your internship about? Like you told about photography and things like that, right? Anything to add on to
Yeah.
that?
So in your final year, you have to do your graduation project in the industry. So you have to look for an internship, or it's actually an internship, but the term is not. They don't prefer to use the term internship. So you have to choose a company to do your graduation project at. So I did my graduation project in filmmaking. So I did it at a media production house called Climb Media. So I worked as a second assistant director and third assistant director for 2 ad films.
Oh, that's interesting. I think it was in the middle of all these things that we had the conversations over phone, right?
Sorry, what's up?
We had some conversations over phone, and probably it was in the middle of these projects, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think from the whole team of things, we would like to thank you, not just for this particular session. There's been a lot of homeworks before doing something like this. She has been extremely busy. I can understand how the final year would be like, but still, thanks a lot for taking your time out and giving some quality content to all these students who've been anxious and wondering and answering all those questions. Okay. So thank you, Theertha. Thanks a lot for giving us your time, and thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for being this interactive and sharing your doubts and things like that. We would hope that you have a wonderful counseling session, and you all get to join the campuses and the courses that you want to get in. We would be coming up with further sessions. So if you want anything in particular, you can post below this particular video. We would be letting you know that. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Theertha. Host, thank you.
Thank you, guys. All the best to everyone out there.